Hey you free people, it's Henry Keane and my team at UATV English letting you know who's next may become a victim or not of criminal Russian aggression. Let's talk today about a country that has suffered from Russian aggression more than once over the past centuries. I'm talking about Poland. The Kremlin threatened this country even before the full-scale invasion of Ukraine, but over the past 2.5 years, the situation has only worsened, of course.
Poland is again threatened by a tyrant. This time Europe must not look away. Putin Ally warns enemy Poland, you risk losing your statehood. Europe in pre-war era warns Poland's Prime Minister Tusk, citing Russia's threat.
For Warsaw, the situation in general is complicated because of the 400 kilometers border with the Russian ally Lukashenko's version of Belarus. For several years, the unrest will be the exact term to describe the overall situation. Minsk has literally gone completely nuts and openly invited illegal migrants from Africa and Asia to storm the Polish border. So far, the attempts have been unsuccessful, but this may just be a quality test of sorts to find out how quickly the border guards react. Judging by the rhetoric of Putin and his minions, Russia is always ready to send its troops there in case of a so-called threat from the Polish side. Geographically, the situation looks even worse than politically. In the northeast, Poland borders Russia's Kaliningrad region, which for decades Putin has praised and promoted as Moscow's armed outpost in Europe. Warsaw always knew that they were one of Russia's priority targets, so the country never did radically reduce its armed forces, actually. Moreover, when Russia invades Ukraine, Poland begins to mount the force up as quickly as possible. So less than 2 weeks after the start of the war, the country's authorities adopted the Homeland Defense Act. It expanded the capabilities of the Polish army radically. As of today, the Polish armed forces have more than 300,000 active personnel, another 670,000 are in stock as reserve. Poland also has impressive tank powers, more than 500 Leopards, Abrams, Korean Black Panthers and converted Soviet Twody tanks. Poland has transferred a very impressive number of tanks to Ukraine to help us protect against Russian invasion, as Poland knows and wants Ukraine to win, as probably no other country except Ukraine, of course, as then it means Poland is safe in time. The Polish army has about 1,600 IFVs, 140 APCs, almost 600 self-propelled artillery units, and more than 200 MLRS. Also, for its defense, Poland will use almost 80 combat fighters jets, 2 frigates, 2 corvettes, and 24 other warships. Russia, in turn, is ready to deploy in the Kaliningrad region its 11th Army Corps. This corps consists of 12,000 soldiers and officers, about 100 T-72 tanks, several hundred BTRs, combat vehicles and rocket artillery. Well, how many more Russian troops are located actually in the Kaliningrad region is not known for sure, but anyhow, if the Kremlin decides to invade Poland, this number will be increased. That one is clear, and Belarus will be happy to help, no doubt about that at all. The armed forces of Belarus consist of 63,000 active personnel and 1/3 in reserve. It has in service 500,000 tanks, nearly 200 ATVs, nearly 1,200 Soviet APCs and armored personnel carriers, and nearly 600 artillery units, including MLRS, 70 units of combat aircraft, fighter jets. As we see in the Polish scenario, the two dictatorial regimes have a slim chance for a victory. The only option is a blitzkrieg, with an attempt to occupy the capital Warsaw. From Belarusian press along the highway, the route to Warsaw is more than 200 kilometers, which actually an armored column can cover this distance in just a few hours. Some of these forces may separate and go south to the large city of Lublin. Also, one cannot exclude an attempt to land over the cover of assault helicopters, the way the Russians did in the Kiev region in the city of Ostomel. Another potential target is the Suwalki corridor, which Russia and Belarus will surely try to seize in order to disconnect Poland from its northern NATO allies, Lithuania, Latvia and Estonia. There, Belarusian troops will probably try to encircle the city of Białystok and go north to link up with the Russians, who will leave the Kaliningrad region. Well, trying to push things northwise in no way actually means things cannot go south all of a sudden. and the Polish leadership perfectly understands the plans of the aggressor. Moreover, exactly from the Kaliningrad region, when this land was still called East Prussia, Poland was attacked during the Second World War. So Warsaw is actively preparing for a potential war. In recent years, about 1,500 tanks, more than 1,200 self-propelled howitzers and more than 2,000 infantry fighting vehicles have been already ordered both from the domestic manufacturers and allies in America, Finland, Sweden, South Korea. An additional 80 aircraft will boost democracy in the skies with the help of 8 Patriot systems down on the ground. At sea, the Kaliningrad region of Russia will be cut off from supplies by the 14 warships. Of these, 3 are the last generation submarines, by the way. Additional people and resources are also being allocated right now for border defense.
We are repairing and strengthening the barrier on the Polish-Belarusian border. The expenditures for this purpose are the highest in history. Władysław Kosiniak-Kamysz, Minister of National Defense of Poland.
But Poland counts not only on equipment, of course, also on people. Constant training of not only active personnel but also staff in reserve. Over the past year, the country has purchased more than 25,000 anti-tank systems. Army Reserve is regularly trained to use them against possible aggressors.
The army wants to train as many citizens as possible. Everyone knows about the threat that comes from the east. Colonel Pavel Galashka, commander of the 18th Lonja Logistics Regiment.
Well, as we can obviously see, even slim chances of defeating Poland are fading swiftly for Putin as the country gets ready for his aggression. As they would surely put it in the Kremlin, like, given the current strength and the awareness level of the Polish defense forces, the chances are negatively present. Well, amen to that, and thanks for being with us. It was Who's Next on UATV English. It was me, Henry Keane. Next episode is about how ready is Romania. Stay safe and tuned for more. See ya.